Chosen, it was God, and He will not give that back to you. Yes, you heard that right. He won't. You feel that pressure inside you, don't you? Something deep and unsettling, as if something has already started to happen. What you thought was control actually never was. Life has been guiding you all along, and now the consequences of that choice are beginning to arrive. You can try to run, but a greater force has already sealed your fate, and there is no going back. Maybe you ignored these signs, thinking they were just coincidences, but the truth is, with every step, you're being pulled into something you don't even fully understand. Pain is on the horizon, but what scares you more is the emptiness you feel. And deep down, you know what's lost can't be recovered. What you don't know is that what lies ahead will transform you, but that transformation comes at a cost you might not be ready to pay. Are you prepared to move forward, or will you let yourself be lost? Have you ever felt at some point a presence in your life you can't explain? Like something or someone was calling your name, even without words. This is how the calling begins. An inexplicable feeling that you're no longer in control, as if your life is about to turn upside down. Maybe you tried to ignore it, tried to deny this truth, but the feeling won't go away. It grows, and you can no longer run from it. This calling doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. It's not a loud cry, but a whisper, a soft voice, yet persistent. You know this voice is calling you to something bigger, something you don't completely understand, but that has already begun to change everything around you. And no matter how hard you try to escape, it won't leave you in peace. You've been chosen, and now you must decide what to do with that. Now the big question is, what will you do with this calling? Will you ignore it as you've done so many times before? Will you try to hide and keep living your life as if nothing is happening? Or will you finally listen to what this voice has to say? The path ahead will not be easy. It will require courage, determination, and more than you think you have inside you. But don't be fooled. The choice has already been made. You feel it, don't you? Something inside of you knows that the life you've known cannot continue. What's coming is immeasurable, and there is no turning back. The world around you may seem the same, but an invisible force is shaping your destiny. This is your chance to awaken to something beyond what you can see. The question is, will you accept it, or will you continue in ignorance? The path is being revealed, and you are about to take the first step. But there's something even deeper that you don't know. The true nature of what lies ahead will not be revealed so easily. You will need something much more powerful than just your will. You will have to face fears, doubts, and perhaps even the loss of everything you know. But then, what comes next? How will you deal with what's about to happen? It's a choice that can't be avoided. And in the next step, you will begin to understand the cost of truth. Now that you've heard the call, the reality of being chosen begins to unfold before you. And the first truth you need to accept is that the choice carries a weight. Don't be fooled. There's no going back. Once you make this decision, your path will never be the same. With every step, you'll be pulled into a more intense reality. And what you thought was a simple option transforms into an overwhelming responsibility. The true burden of choice comes with something you might not have considered: loss. Yes, you will lose things. Maybe people, maybe the life you once knew. Have you ever imagined that by being chosen, you'll have to leave behind what comforted you? What will you do when you realize the sacrifices will be more than you expected? It won't just be a trade, it will be a painful transformation, one that might even rip apart pieces of who you once were. But understand one thing, every chosen one goes through this, and it's this pain, this temporary emptiness, that separates those who are ready from those still trying to hide. The true purpose demands you let go of what is comfortable, and only then will you realize that in reality, you were never truly alive before. The choice is, in truth, a rebirth, but like all births, it comes with pain. What will you do with this pain? You're seeing the truth now, aren't you? With every choice you make, something inside you breaks. But transformation only happens when you allow yourself to lose. This is the price of growth, of evolution, of the true journey. And while this pain is inevitable, what you don't know yet is that on the other side, something even greater awaits. But what will that be exactly? And how far are you willing to go to reach it? Before you take the next step, a question you must ask yourself: are you ready to lose everything you think you control? Because the next phase of this journey will demand more from you. You'll have to face what's deepest within you. The true cost is in the transformation, and only then will you understand what it means to be truly chosen. And what comes after that? What will you find at the end of this journey? Let's discover in the next step. As you move forward on this path, you begin to realize that you are no longer the same. What once seemed simple and clear now blends between shadows and light, and the path ahead is no longer so obvious. You find yourself dividing your internal forces, the light that guides you and the shadows that try to lead you astray. But the chosen one cannot get lost in the darkness. They must understand that both light and shadow are part of the process. You cannot fear the shadows because they are as necessary as the light. It's hard, I know. You feel lost, trying to discern what's real and what is just an illusion created by fear. The journey of the chosen will never be easy, but it's precisely in the difficulty that true transformation happens. As you walk between light and shadows, you begin to understand that every step of doubt strengthens you. It's not the end that matters, but the journey that shapes you. And every part of yourself that you lose or face prepares you for what's to come. But what you don't realize is that no matter how threatening the shadow may seem, it is the shadow that teaches you about yourself. The light reveals who you could be, but it is the darkness that reveals who you truly are. Don't be deceived. The more you try to avoid the shadows, the more they become a part of you. The question remains, are you willing to face them, or will you get lost in fear, doubt, and denial? Every challenge that appears before you serves as a mirror of your soul. You are being forged piece by piece through the tension between the light you seek and the shadows that frighten you. But know that this is a necessary process, perhaps even painful, but it is the only path to becoming who you were truly meant to be. And deep down, you begin to realize that the path itself is a school, and you are both the student and the teacher at the same time. So what comes next? What happens when you finally begin to understand that the path of the chosen is both a test of endurance and of understanding? What more will you have to face before you truly understand the meaning of what it means to be chosen? These answers are not clear yet, but in the next step, you will begin to see the cost of truth and what is really at stake. Now that you've started walking through shadows and light, the truth begins to reveal itself, but not in the way you expect. The truth isn't simple. It isn't easy to digest, and often it hides behind a veil of confusion. You thought you knew the answer, that you had control, but every step you take on this journey seems to push you into an abyss of uncertainties. What you don't know is that truth will not be served on a silver platter. It will be earned, but at what cost? The truth about who you are and what you must do will not be clear from the beginning. It camouflages itself, distorts itself, plays with your perception. And while you get lost in the search for certainties, what is really at stake goes beyond simple answers. You are not only seeking to know what is real, but you are being challenged to accept the truth, even when it's not what you want to hear. What will you do when the truth challenges you to abandon your certainties and everything you believed was safe? This is the hardest part, accepting that what you see is not all that exists. The truth does not present itself clearly and simply. It demands that you step out of your comfort zone, that you dive into deep and often frightening waters. When you look in the mirror of your soul, you will realize that what is most painful is not what you will find, but what you will have to let go of in order to move forward. Are you ready to let go of your own illusions? You begin to understand that, to know the truth, you must allow yourself to be deconstructed. There is no longer space for half-truths, for the soft lie that makes you feel safe. The true journey requires courage to face the facts, even when they seem unbearable. What will you do when you face the harsh reality? Will you give in to fear, or will you finally face what's hidden inside of you? But the greatest mystery still lies ahead. When you are finally ready to embrace the truth, you will discover that it is even more powerful than you imagined, but also more terrifying. And you will have to decide, will you move forward, facing the pain of truth, or will you take refuge in the comfort of ignorance? In the next step, we will talk about the sacrifice necessary to reach this truth and the price you will have to pay. Now that you are beginning to understand the true nature of the path, there is a reality you can no longer ignore. To move forward, you will need to make sacrifices. And not just any sacrifice, but those that touch your soul deeply, those that will challenge you to the limits of what you believe is possible. What you thought was a simple choice now transforms into a price to pay, and you will realize that what you lose cannot be recovered. Being chosen doesn't just mean gaining something grand, but losing what once gave you security. Friends, certainties, even old dreams, all of that will begin to disappear. As you move forward, you will realize that the cost of following the truth will be greater than anything you had imagined. Life asks you to let go, and the pain of what you leave behind will haunt you. But the question is, are you willing to pay this price? The great irony of the path is that what you lose might be exactly what propels you toward true freedom. When you leave behind what limits you, you begin to expand, to transform into something you still don't fully understand. The sacrifice will be heavy, and the pain will be real. But only then will you realize that this loss was necessary for your growth. True gain does not come without pain. You feel that, don't you? That knot in your throat, that feeling that you are losing something essential. Maybe you've tried to hold on, to find a middle ground, but the truth is that if you don't free yourself from what holds you back, you will never reach what truly belongs to you. What you don't realize is that the sacrifice is just the starting point. Everything you lose now will serve as the foundation for the transformation that is to come. And as you move forward, you will ask yourself all the time if it's worth it. The sacrifice will test your faith, your courage, your essence, but the answer will only come later when you look back and understand that without this price, you would never have come so far. But what comes next? What is really waiting for you when the loss becomes irreversible? Let's find out in the next step, where the truth about this transformation will finally be revealed. After sacrifice and loss, the time comes to face the hardest test of all, the test of faith. Everything around you may be falling apart, and you find yourself at a point where, more than ever, you will be challenged to believe in what you cannot see. The path has become more murky, the answers more distant, and what you thought was truth now seems like a mere shadow. But the question is, can you trust even when you don't see the next step? True faith isn't about certainty. It's about surrendering to the unknown, even when every fiber of your being cries out for tangible proof. You thought that pain and loss would be the greatest tests, but the real trial comes when there are no more certainties, when everything is shrouded in mystery and darkness. This is the moment where the chosen reveal themselves. The question you face now is, will you follow the road without guarantees, without assurance that what's ahead is truly what you expect? You feel the uncertainty, don't you? The fear of being wrong, the desire for a clear sign that shows you are on the right path. The problem is that as the chosen, the signs are not so simple. It won't be what your eyes see, but what your soul feels. This is the crucial point where you will be forced to decide. Follow your intuition and trust the call, or allow doubt to paralyze you, to push you backward. Faith is like a seed planted in barren soil. There's no guarantee it will grow the way you expect, but if you have patience, trust, and courage, it will bloom at the right moment. It is this moment of uncertainty that defines who you will become. If you give up now, the journey will be lost. But if you persist, what comes next will challenge all your limitations. Faith isn't about understanding the path, but trusting that it's real, even when everything seems uncertain. Now you stand at the edge of a choice. Will you surrender to fear, or will you trust, even without seeing? What comes after this test of faith is even deeper, but the real question is, are you ready to believe without proof? In the next step, we will explore what comes when faith is tested to its limits, and how this test will reveal something within you that is still hidden. Now that you've passed the test of faith, the time has come to face the greatest sacrifice of all, the price of the journey. You've realized that up to this point, everything has been a great learning experience, but what comes next demands more than you imagined. What you thought you were gaining was actually just preparation for the real surrender. The journey of the chosen is not just about what you achieve, but about what you are willing to lose in order to become something greater. The pain of sacrifice will consume you in ways you can't imagine. You had to let go of certainties so deep that you didn't even realize how much they were holding you back. Now, you find yourself facing the need to let go of so much more. This is not just any loss, but a loss that will shake your deepest foundations. What's at stake is not just your current life, but your identity, your fears, your weaknesses. The question is, are you ready to let go of who you thought you were? Every layer of your existence that you lose brings you closer to your true self, but this is never easy. The journey will demand that you distance yourself from everything superficial and delve deeper into your essence. As you do this, you'll realize that true transformation comes from the courage to leave behind what no longer serves, what no longer resonates with your new reality. Understand this: there is no achievement without loss. There is no growth without renunciation. What you are building on this journey is far greater than the people and things you leave behind, but the process will be painful. You will have to look inward and question everything that defines you, everything you think makes you who you are. And as you do that, a truth will be revealed, something you still can't fully see. And the question that lingers in the air is, what happens when you truly surrender to the sacrifice, when there is no turning back? What comes after this surrender? Are you prepared to face the emptiness that comes with the loss and discover what it truly brings to your life? The answer is closer than you think, but to discover what truly lies ahead, you'll have to continue this journey. In the next step, we will explore how this surrender will reveal the true nature of your purpose. Now that you've given up everything you thought was yours, it's time to begin to glimpse what lies ahead. You've already faced sacrifice, seen the loss, and surrendered to the journey, but you still don't understand what really lies ahead. The future, with its promise of transformation, begins to reveal itself subtly. What you thought was the end is actually just the beginning of something you never dreamed could be possible. Are you ready to see beyond the finish line? What awaits you, chosen one, is not a simple reward. The future will not be a prize, but a new version of yourself. All the pain, all the loss, and all the sacrifice you've faced are aligning to prepare you for what's to come. But don't be fooled. This future is not for everyone. It is reserved only for those who have the courage to continue, to keep moving forward without looking back, even when the unknown challenges you to stop. You thought you knew what you wanted, but what truly matters now is what you are about to become. This future, which once seemed distant and hazy, is now clearer. The transformation you seek will be deeper and more authentic than any material desire. Your vision of the future is being shaped by what you've experienced, and what you thought was loss now reveals itself as the foundation of who you are truly going to become. What you still don't fully understand is that the future, though revealed, is not something to simply achieve. It is lived with each step, with each decision, with each sacrifice. When you finally see what truly awaits you, you'll realize that the true journey is internal. And then, what will become of the chosen when the future is not just a destination, but an eternal continuation of your transformation? The key lies in how you will interpret everything that now becomes part of you. The next stage of this journey is even more challenging. When you finally understand the impact of the future you're building, you will realize that, in reality, you're just beginning. But what will you do when you discover that it's not the future that defines who you are, but the internal journey you've already traveled? In the next step, we'll explore how the true purpose of the chosen is revealed and what it means for what's to come. Now that you've traveled the journey and faced all the tests, sacrifices, and uncertainties, the time has come to meet the truest version of yourself. The future that once seemed distant is now your reality. But the deepest part of this journey is not in what you've achieved, but in who you've become. The chosen one finally looks in the mirror and sees someone they didn't recognize before. But what will you do with this new identity? The transformation you've experienced so far has been immense, and although everything around you may seem to have changed, the greatest shock occurs within you. The old self that still existed has been left behind in the shadows, and the new you is stronger, more aware, and more aligned with your purpose. The true journey was never about others or what you could achieve, but about finding the most authentic version of yourself. Now, what will you do with this newly discovered power? Don't be fooled. The chosen path doesn't end with the discovery of your true self. Returning to your essence is only the starting point. Now, you must take the reins of this new being, guide it with the wisdom you've gained, and use it to impact the world around you. What will you do now that you fully understand your true purpose? What happens when you're able to live fully with the power of your true identity? The world around you will change, but it will be you who makes the decisions. You may feel relief, but don't be fooled. The true test comes when you begin to apply this transformation to your life. The world is waiting for someone like you, someone who now knows their strength and their purpose. How will you use it? The temptation to return to old patterns is real, but the path ahead demands courage to continue being who you truly are, without excuses, without regrets. Now, you face a new challenge. How will you live now that everything you thought you knew has been reconfigured? What will you do with this wisdom you now carry within you? In the next step, we'll explore what it means to live with the true understanding of your purpose and how this new path will be completely different from anything you've ever experienced. We have reached the final point of this journey, but in reality, you know this is just the beginning. Now that the transformation is complete and you've recognized the truth within yourself, the real test begins: to live with the purpose that has been revealed. That purpose, which for so long was hidden, is now your mission. It will not be easy, but from this moment on, you will be tested in every decision, in every action, to reflect this new being that you've become. You have already faced the greatest challenge, facing the truth and becoming who you really are. But now, life demands that you apply this new self in a concrete way, impacting everything around you. The revealed purpose is not a reward to be kept for yourself, but a force that must be shared, lived, and transmitted to the world. Every step you take from now on will be a reflection of what you've learned so far, and what happens from this moment will define the legacy you leave behind. You may even feel fear or insecurity, because now there is no turning back. You can no longer hide from yourself, from the responsibilities that come with the power of your own transformation. Life will no longer be about searching for answers, but about living the answers that are already within you. It's time to act with the certainty that everything you've been through was not in vain. The path ahead will not be easy, but it will be absolutely necessary for the fulfillment of your true destiny. The question now is no longer about what you need to do, but about who you have become in order to be able to do it. True power comes from acting aligned with your essence, with the courage to face the world as it is. There will be no more space for doubts because your mission has been clear and you've recognized it. Now, the only movement possible is to keep moving forward, with the confidence that you are exactly where you should be. This is the decisive moment where action is inevitable and choices are your signature. The purpose you have long sought is now your reality. Now you must live this truth every day, without hesitation, without looking back. The true journey of the chosen begins now. You are no longer the same, and the world around you will never be the same. What you do from now on, chosen one, will define everything. You've made it this far, and that alone is already an extraordinary achievement. The journey of the chosen is not for everyone, but you chose to continue, step by step, in search of the truth and purpose that only the chosen can comprehend. Now, what you do with all of this is up to you. The power to transform your life and the world around you is in your hands. If you feel that this journey has been impactful, if it touched something inside of you, don't forget to leave a like. Your engagement makes all the difference and helps us keep delivering high-impact content like this. Share in the comments what this journey has meant for you and how it's changing your perspective. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and join this community of people choosing to become the best version of themselves. The journey never ends, but what matters is the next step. Now, it's up to you. Let's move forward together, always stronger.